Welcome back. As we said earlier, October is the month of victories, of celebrations, and giving more attention to what's going on in Sinai. Sinai, this wonderful, great, valuable part of our modern and ancient history. Sinai is going to be all the time occupying such a dear, special part in our hearts and minds as Egyptians, and maybe as the Arab and Islamic nation too. Well, regarding the mega projects which are under construction, and some of them already fulfilled in Sinai, with the potentials of this area, and to shed more light on our economic development process there, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister and our economic expert. A very good morning to you, Ambassador Bayoumi. Hello?
Yes.
Sir, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Great. Sir, first, before going into the details, many even of the Egyptians themselves, when we speak about the development process in Sinai, they only think about tourism, they only think about Sharm el-Sheikh, about Dahab, about such wonderful places, and thinking that this is going to be the main part or the lion's share. But on the contrary, Sinai is filled with treasures. Can we shed more light on those treasures before going into more details?
It is a full story of opportunities. Sinai is agriculture, it is industry, it is tourism. And why not tourism? Because now we are proud of what is happening always in Sharm el-Sheikh as a city of conferences every now and then. So Sharm el-Sheikh, Nuweiba and Taba, it has a good story also. Mm-hmm. And it's leading the story of investment there. And here this is a good point of our history, that Sinai, if Sinai is also always developed, if we continue developing this area of our country, it means that we are seeking peace. Some people say wrongly that our neighbor doesn't like Sinai with development. Not true, because if we develop Sinai, it means that we are seeking peace, not war. Mm. Anyway, but now we have, as you said, the mega projects in agriculture. We are supplying Sinai with new ways to irrigate water, and of course, there is a good possibility to cultivate many sources of agriculture. Industry is there because there are a lot of expectations concerning industry there. So electricity also, because we are connecting our electricity net with Jordan, with Syria, with Lebanon. Not many people know that Beirut is getting its electricity now from Egypt. Also, this electricity will continue to Arabia Saudi, to Emirates, and up till Baghdad in the far east of the Arab world, up till Casablanca in the far west of the Arab world. This will make Egypt a supplier of energy to Europe, whether it is electricity or gas or oil. Yeah. And now we are building some electrical line from Egypt, from Sinai especially, to Greece and to Cyprus, mm-hmm. to supply Europe with some of its need of electricity.
Yeah. Sir, as you mentioned development in Sinai, one of the main weapons we had fighting terrorism, it was development. When we speak about eliminating terrorism, uprooting terrorism, of course the armed forces did a great job, but also development was the other side of the coin, if you agree with me on that.
Absolutely, and God bless Anna Linda, the late foreign minister of Sweden, once we were in a conference talking about terrorism. And she said, poverty and the poor people are not terrorists, but the terrorism is using poverty in order to make its activities. And of course, those who have work, those who have daily work to take care of, wouldn't think about terrorism. And of course, you are right that developing Sinai is one main weapon against any source of terrorism.
Mm-hmm. Sir, when we were speaking about Sinai maybe 15 or 20 years ago, here, if we are here in Cairo or in the Delta, we think that, oh, it's that far, hundreds of kilometers, but now with the leap in infrastructure, with the leap in the networks of roads, bridges and access, it's coming that close. How do you see the importance of having this connection between Sinai and the Delta?
You are absolutely right, and in any developed country, if you see why it is developed, always it's in my mind Germany. After it was totally destructed after the Second World War, one main reason of the German development, it was its road net. Mm-hmm. It has beautiful roads, and by the way, Germany is one rare country there isn't speed limit, mm-hmm. because they have those beautiful roads. They have also a good car industry. I remember in Germany, I can drive at any speed I want. I like driving, but of course I do not exaggerate. But once the driver was coming from the presidency, and he asked me if I am afraid of the speed.
Yeah.
And I was in a car with a speed of 300 kilometers an hour. My goodness. With a good road, you do not feel any fear about that. So anyway, my point is...
But before leaving Germany, we should say that who continued on the same track and who built the railway networks in the modern history of Germany, it's the great Hani Azer.
Yes, of course. And we have a beautiful community in Egypt, in
Germany, yes.
I'm proud of them. Still, we have Hani Nourash here, of course, in the solar energy also.
Yep.
We have a big community of Egyptians living in Germany and in Europe generally. We are proud of them. They are well educated, occupying good positions. And we
Amen to that. Returning back to Sinai, if you permit me, sir, and since you mentioned Germany as a developed country, and since you mentioned our community there, among other communities all over the world, of course, to what extent do you think that Sinai, with all the development process, with all the projects, is going to be such an attractive destination for investors to come and to invest here in Egypt and in Sinai in specific in many fields?
For a simple reason, because it is in the middle of everywhere in the world. It's Suez Canal, of course. It is the border of Sinai. And of course, we are keen to see Suez Canal zone, not the Suez Canal, the waterway only, to be an attractive place for investors. Mm-hmm. We are calling for the Far Eastern countries like Japan or China to come and produce their commodities in the Suez Canal zone to be more near and nearer to their markets. Mm-hmm. And I always give the example that if you want to buy a Japanese camera, you don't buy it from Tokyo, you buy it from London, mm-hmm. because they have storage in London to distribute their commodities, mm-hmm. to be near to their main market. Yeah. If you want to buy Brazilian sugar, you shouldn't go to Rio de Janeiro. If you want coffee, Brazilian coffee or sugar from Brazil, you buy it from Beirut. Mm-hmm. They have huge storage there. So Suez Canal is exactly in the middle of everywhere in Africa, in Asia, and Europe. That is a source of investment we are calling for.
Yeah.
The investment on shipbuilding industry, it is very important there. And ship repairing, ship supplier of food and fuel and ship repair. Many ideas are there, many things can be started in this area because of the place. The place is very attractive. Also, the power stations which will be there, it gives you the energy you need. The working class is not bad at all. So everything you need as investor too.
So what do we need, sir? More propaganda, marketing? I mean, how we can convince the whole world with the reality that it's not a desert anymore. Neither Sinai nor the New Valley, for example. We do have treasures there. The sand itself in all these places, which is really filled and rich with silicon, for example, it's another treasure. What do we need, or what's our homework? Is it marketing? Is it, as I said, propaganda, even more than marketing? What?
Once I invited 10 European businessmen for dinner, although I'm from Damietta, by the way. And I invited with them some of our eminent businessmen. And one Egyptian businessman raised this question. He said, what can attract you to our country, of course, including Sinai? What is annoying you? They said in the third world in general, we have two problems. First, bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is very slow, and we do not have the time to waste since we put the first $1 million until we get the first $100,000 as profits. Second, that the justice process also is very slow. And according to IMF, justice in the third world, it takes in average 10 years for every case, which cost you 10% annually of your capital. So those two problems we don't talk about, we don't feel. It's not a matter of being clever or this or that. Be fast in dealing with the investor. Give him his license, give him a good opportunity with electricity, with good working class, and so on. So it's not a problem at all. It's not something.
It's not a problem, and the president, when he was recently inaugurating some of the projects in the affiliated to the investment authority, he said exactly what you've said, sir, that all obstacles in front of investors are going to be totally eliminated, on top of which is bureaucracy. Only less than 20 days, inshallah, every investor is going to have his license. We hope that this is going to be implemented on the ground that soon to benefit from all our resources. Sir, also, if you permit me to speak about the fields of investments. I mean, we would find that the temperature, I mean, the environment in Sinai is unique. I mean, we can benefit from each part or each merit do we have there. The mines, the precious stones, the sand, as I said, the artifacts, the new communities who are trying to build themselves there. If you agree with me on that, and if you agree with me also on the importance of building new communities in Sinai.
Once a couple of dear friends from some European countries, ambassadors, they told us that you have a treasure in Sinai and the Red Sea, which is the sun. The sun is energy, the sun is tourism. While Europe is now starting the winter, still Sinai have its sun. You can, of course, produce energy from the sun. It is the cheapest way of producing electricity. So the place itself, the sun, the weather, as you rightly said, is very important. So all we have to do is to start, wake up and working hard, faster, and every hour, every minute, we should cover our development process. And I think we have a lot to do.
One final question, sir, regarding the facilities there. We now know that there are new universities in Sinai, new schools, specialized schools, vocational education. To what extent do you think that these education institutions in specific are important just to give the residents of Sinai the opportunity to achieve more and to lead a successful career in all fields? Let me say it, in most of the fields, but it's what's going on the ground, it's in all fields.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and I always realize and say that my city, Damietta, which I call it the Japan of Egypt.
It is.
It is a highly industrialized city, and because of this, there isn't one ignorant person. Same time, the rate of employment is 103%, because we have this Damietta proverb, I am a student in the morning and carpenter in the afternoon. Many people in Damietta have two jobs. So no unemployment in Damietta, and no ignorance. Education is the word. And that's why full education is in Damietta, and that's why, as you rightly said, education will lead you to full employment. I remember that in Damietta, everyone is working something with his hands. And always I say proudly, Gamal Bayoumi is ambassador, but he is also a carpenter, a plumber, electrician, any things which you do by your hands, ambassador.
All in one. And simply because of that, sir, I say it every time, I do learn a lot. After our every interview, or even whether via phone or in person, inshallah, I'll be lucky enough to have you as my dear guest live here in the studio as soon as possible. Thank you very much, sir, for your input, and have a very nice day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Well, we were very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister and our economic expert and diplomatic figure. By this, we come to the end of this segment. Now we are going to return back right after the short break with my dear colleague and friend Amal Mukhtar, so stay tuned.